My name is Udoka Oswaji. I'm from Nigeria. I'm currently doing a master's degree program in mechanical engineering.
My name is Fidel Anaya. I'm from Singapore and I'm currently studying my PhD in neurology.
My name is Manuela Dalborgo. I am a Brazilian national and I am a PhD candidate in the Department of Greek and Latin.
My name is Kai. I'm from Singapore and I'm doing a PhD at the Slade School of Fine Art.
We came in September when the weather wasn't that harsh or wasn't too cold. Yeah, so it was gradual for us to adjust.
It was less humid and it was a bit cooler, but it wasn't too cold, so I didn't really need all that layers or things. So it was just basically like normal, like sort of air-conditioned temperature initially, like in September. So it was fine, yeah.
Expect it to be consistently cold and rainy, not only sometimes cold and rainy.
It was really easy, really, because there's only a few like major roads and there's a lot of landmarks and tourist attractions where you sort of can get your bearings from. So you just have a little wander, and it's pretty safe as well, especially if you do it in the day and have a little wander. So I don't think you could get that lost in London.
At the beginning, it was quite expensive for me, but by the time I now got the student's Oyster card, it was now less expensive and worth the while.
Public transport, as I said, was very convenient. However, it is expensive, so I would suggest that you either buy a bike or you use the public bikes that we have now available.
I think it's always good to walk where you live, walk around just to explore the place. Of course you can get on the bus or you can get on the tube as well, but walking, or for me I run actually, so I run the neighborhood that I live in, and I think it's a really good way to get to the ground literally and get to see people, get to find out little alleys that you don't normally see if you take the public transport, and so discover a lot of new things if you just explore it by walking, by running, by even cycling. Get on one of the Boris bikes.
When I first arrived, I was able to reach them. I wasn't able to reach them, but they reached me because they reached me through the line I was using back home because it was roamed. So they were able to call me, although I was also charged for receiving the calls. Initially,
I'd call them to let them know that I'm sort of free to speak, and I'll sort of hang up, and then they'll sort of call back, because then it's easy for them to know what's the cheaper rates like from the home country to sort of call here, rather than me sort of finding out what's the sort of cheapest way initially to call back.
First, I called by cell phone from my local cell phone. It was very expensive, but nowadays, I use mainly Skype to communicate with my family and friends. The first thing you should do is buy a pay-as-you-go phone. And in a second instance, after you've considered all of the different options that you have for the different mobile companies that you can buy phones from, calmly you select one.
I use Skype. I think all poor students use Skype. Yeah.
The advice I would give them is when they come in, the first few weeks or months, they should just try to look at what they spend on, look at what they spend actually, and then look at some of them that are needs and then those that are wants. Then they will try to know which ones will have to stay, which ones would have to be removed, and then with that they could like try to level around and make things good for themselves.
Well, initially when I first arrived, I sort of kept a little logbook of like my spending habits, just because things cost slightly differently in the currency and things like that. So I just kept a little logbook for a few months initially just to see what I'm spending, so I know how much I'm using per month and things like that. So I know in the future how much more money I need and things like that I could work out.
Rent. If you can get cheap rent, that's ideal. And if you can secure a room in university housing, that's excellent. Because if you can cut back cost on housing, you can spend much more on living style, which is very cool in London. That's what you want to be spending your money on.
London is great in that all the museums are free. That's a very, very amazing thing about London. You can explore London in a very cheap way, even though the currency is still quite high. But having said that, I mean, you just need to budget wisely. £4 can get you to the swimming pool, £4 can get you a pint. Just need to think about what your priorities are.